with my boyfriend, Connor Elfrink. Say hi.
Hi, I'm
Fantastic.
Connor, and I'm originally from St. Louis. Nice to meet all you guys.
You as well.
Hi, Connor. Hi, Starla.
All right, let's jump over to Emily. Emily, we can't hear you. Is your volume up?
No, now she's muted. Now you muted yourself. So I think there might be a problem with your microphone. Do you have some headphones? Go try to find some earbuds if you have them.
Yep. Go ahead, Emily. Take your time. All right, let's jump over to Paula. Paula, welcome.
Hey, hi.
And
I'm from. Oh,
go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead, Paula.
I'm from Ireland, and I'm going to Hangzhou in China.
In south of Shanghai. Okay. All right. Well, now since we're all acquainted, we can get started. You might know James and I. Maybe James not as much, but I've been speaking to a lot of you, and I know you've been interacting a lot with Katie as well, and some of you with Meredith. So we can kind of get into the topics of discussion, and at the end, guys, we're going to try to have a little bit of Q&A. Remember, if you could, not to ask very school-specific questions. It's really not the time for it. But we can answer questions individually at a later time. So first, let's start with our first topic. And after we introduced one another,
Let's see if Emily.
Yeah, Emily.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Emily, can you say something?
We'll see if you have your. No.
No.
That's okay, Emily. Just hang out and listen in. And Emily, what you can do very quickly, if you scroll to the left side of the Google Hangout, you'll see a blue chat box. When it's time to ask questions at the end, if you have questions, we'd like you to write it in the chat box so we can answer them for you. Okay? Awesome. Okay, so guys, we're going to jump into the first real point. Now, we asked you if you have any things that you've written down in preparation for some of the things that you want to accomplish or do, or might be even concerned about before you leave. And some of the things that we threw out as an example are very common questions, considering what to pack, how much to pack, not overpacking or underpacking, recognizing the climate of where you're going. One thing that a lot of our teachers love to do lately, within this past year, it's kind of like this new trend, is having a care package prepared for you. So a month into your trip, you have it ready. You can call a family member and say, okay, can you send a care package for me? They can kind of just send some of your favorite things from home that might be a little difficult to get when you're abroad. Or eventually just getting someone from your family to send a care package. We also talk about photos. James, you want to talk a little bit about how important photos are?
Yeah, you should definitely bring a lot of stuff about your life in multimedia form or other form that you can talk about with your class. It's going to happen, whether you want it to happen or not to happen. They want to know about you, right? You are unique. You are interesting. You are special. And they're going to ask questions, and you're going to want to share with them, right? They want to know more about you. You want to know more about them. Bring pictures with you. Bring videos with you. Bring some things that you think would be interesting to your students with you.
Yeah. So, guys, another thing is, too, having, the cash on hand is one other topic we want to talk about. I'm sure you all realize that you're getting paid within your contracts. You get paid once a month. So you're basically having, a need for some cash to have on hand. So I think, and it depends whether or not you're going to Korea or China, but around $600 to $700 is usually good if you can afford to have that in pocket on hand, because it does take a couple weeks to open a bank account, get paid. So it is good to have the money on hand, ready to go. You don't necessarily have to have, guys, don't worry about like I need to have all this in the foreign currency. It needs to be in Korean won or Chinese won. You just need to have actual cash. Then you're able to get the money changed, exchanged to the currency to when you're in country. A little bit on hand is good to have, but so those are usually good pieces of advice. You don't have to have it all, changed.
So let's see what their questions.
Yeah.
Can we start with Starla and Connor? You're on the far left. So tell us a few of the things that you're thinking about right now, like your departure dates coming up. I'm not sure exactly when all of your departure dates are, but tell us some of the concerns that you have, questions that you have, things that you don't know if you should pack. Anything that you need to ask, throw it out there right now. So Connor and Starla, how about you kind of start?
Okay. Connor, what are you thinking?
I guess the cell phone thing.
Well, we leave on February 27th to head to Korea, and we feel pretty good about what we need to bring with us because we have worked overseas before. However, our major concern is about cell phones and what we should do in regards to a cell phone. Should we purchase it through the arrival store? Should we go to a private company? Or is there a third option that we should
Yeah, I'm going to definitely. So I'm going to give two suggestions. And Paul, this is actually just Korea specifically, so if you could just bear with us for a minute.
No worries.
I
apologize.
No, not at all. No, that's going to happen. Don't worry. And Emily, this could apply to you, and I think I briefly discussed this with you. So the arrival store, they either, they sell out of phones quickly. A great suggestion that of a previous candidate who's in Korea right now came up. He said, Matt, James, I suggest that you tell your teachers this because it did work out for me well. My cell phone, and it's entirely up to you. Some of you might want smartphones, or to have on you. And you can get that, but you have to wait 2 weeks, and your employer has to actually take you. And you have to have a bank account open for that cell phone plan to be matched to, so you can get billed every month. A cheaper option is renting for 1 year a simple phone, not a smartphone, through the arrival store, which they have in stock. They run out of smartphones very quickly. So you could, even though it's towards the end of February and you're going very soon, you can still, the three of you could still do that. And I know Emily, for example, right, Emily, you said you have a tablet, right? So you're using a tablet, and this can apply to you as well, Paula. If you guys have a tablet to carry around maybe in your purse, and you go to a cafe, every cafe essentially in Korea and in China have Wi-Fi. So if you're out and about, you can pull your tablet out. You can get on Kakao Talk or in Korea or WeChat. You can message family from home on Skype. So you can do all those things with an American tablet. So if you're going cheaper route and you want to save money, you can get a cheap phone. If you're like, I'll pay between $60 and $80 a month for the smartphone, let me try to get the smartphone through the arrival store if they have it. Plan C, if they don't have any phones, simple or smartphones, I can wait, kind of suck it up and wait 2 weeks to get an actual phone from my school. My school will sponsor it. So those are your options. Paula, you would have to wait until your employer gets you set up with a bank account. For Echo, they're going to set you up with all that, and you'll be able to do that. But if you have a tablet, you can bring that for easy connection and communication with family and friends when, right away. Okay? Does that make sense?
All right. Gun to your head. Recommend something.
I would say, guys, if you're looking to save money and watch, this first month is pretty important. If you don't have as much saved up, I would go simple phone route. It's 1 year, and if you have a tablet and can bring that with you, I would do that. If you don't have a tablet from home that you could bring, I would suggest trying to either get a smartphone from the arrival store. If they're sold out, I'd probably wait a couple weeks to get a smartphone.
The arrival store is great. I would recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense, guys? Are you leaning towards one direction? Not to Vance?
We
That was a
just
bad
wanted an option that would be most realistic for the work that we would be doing, and the simple phone option seems like it would be useful in addition to using the WeChat on our tablets.
Yeah.
If you
So
have
that
tablets,
work?
I would totally. Yeah, I had a good friend, guys, and this is coming from a guy who wore jeans. You know, we don't, unfortunately, we don't have purses like the ladies do. But very often when you're in Seoul and you're constantly moving back and forth and you're taking the subway here and there, it's very common for guys to have backpacks or bags to throw over. Bring your laptops and things around. So having a tablet is a great option. I would suggest though having a phone from the start is nice. So go the simple phone route if that's what you.
Okay, perfect. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything else, Connor and Starla? Anything else that you're kind of wondering about? Like maybe you're arriving day one, something surprises you didn't know about. Is there anything that's kind of running through your mind that you want to talk about or not?
Maybe, do you guys have any suggestions, like language-wise, for our first few weeks? Like some basic phrases we should learn, just for like helpful with like greeting our class. I guess just like going in with pretty much like very basic language. Is there some things from you guys that were teachers? What would you suggest, like
sure.
bare minimum learning for work-wise?
So guys, this is another important note, and try to remember this and write this down because this is another point I wanted to bring it about. You should all bring a gift for your director. Something small.
Yes.
Something very small.
Yes.
If it could relate to America or Ireland, wherever we're coming from, and you think they'd enjoy it, bring it. Something small. You don't have to spend any more than $10 even. So it's a good suggestion, and it shows that's a great way to a great foot forward, for your right upon arriving.
Yes.
Also, I think you all should have basic phrases, to address your classes when you're out in public and maybe you're at a restaurant. Basic phrases you can write down, very simple ones in Chinese or Korean. So that you can essentially just pronounce, phonetically and kind of get by as you start to pick up certain phrases. Because believe me, very, very quickly, you might think now, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to communicate. You will pick up, after the first week or so, you will all, I can guarantee you, will pick up phrases and common words to communicate certain things. So I know it's overwhelming in the beginning, but you'll be around, other staff members of your school, potentially other teachers.
I'll give them a piece of advice too. Just buy a quick book before you go. It has 10 phrases in it. Learn them. That's it. Yeah. Honestly, like the simplest thing is usually the best thing. Emily, don't worry about it. We see you there. If we can hear you, we'll tell you about it. We can't hear you yet. So yeah, Starla and Connor, just learn a few phrases. Here, I'll just tell you some right now. Learn how to say where is something.
Okay.
Learn how to say where is something, and then learn how to say I want something. Okay, and then learn how to say how much is something. Those are the three most important phrases that you need. Where is it, I want it, and how much is it?
Okay.
I could teach you.
I think we're losing the signal.
Where is one?
I'm sorry, we're
how much?
traveling, and I think the signal is a bit weak. So I
That's okay, guys.
apologize for that.
Oh no, don't worry. Emily, if you have any questions that are coming up, feel free write it in the chat box. Just scroll your mouse around, and you'll see on the left side in blue. Paula, how about for yourself? Any questions that come to mind, when you hit the ground? Any concerns?
I just wanted to check something you said about the cell phone. Do I have to wait till they set up my bank account before I can get a SIM card? Because I have an iPhone 4 that's unlocked.
Here's another suggestion, guys. If you have an iPhone or a plan here in the States, you can actually suspend your phone to keep your cell phone number. So this is another good suggestion. Keeping keeping your cell number.
Yeah.
If you cancel,
Like in Ireland.
go ahead, Paul.
No, I was gonna say in Ireland it's different. We're not like I don't have like a plan, so I can just change my SIM card. I don't have like like a prepaid plan every month or anything.
In America, all of the cell phone carriers and therefore all the cell phones have a specific identity number related to that carrier. And outside of America, in some places, I'm not sure about everywhere, but in China, for example, you don't have that carrier ID. So basically, you need to deactivate your American cell phone. I know you're not American, but nonetheless, if your country has restrictions, if your country, if you call your cell phone provider, for example, I have an iPhone, right? If I was going to Korea tomorrow, I would call Verizon, which is my cell phone provider. I would say, hello, I'm going to China. I'm going to Korea. I am going to take this phone with me, and when I'm in that country, I want to use this phone with a new plan. How do I do it? They are going to tell you to suspend the service, and then when you arrive in the country, ask your school director, right?
Okay.
It's a very nice gift.
Yeah. Guys, unfortunately, Korea's on their own network, and you can't take your plan and use your cell phone, meaning like outside to make calls. I mean, you can't. So, meaning you need to go through and use it.
Well, data though. I thought that you go to China, change the SIM card.
Yeah.
I know that.
For Korea specifically, you can't. They're Korean phone, That's why, because they wouldn't do that and offer that if you could easily take your phone from America or Ireland or whatever.
I apologize for the lack of a clear answer for those going to Korea. Call your cell phone provider and just ask.
But for China, you can do he did it himself. So, yeah. Paul, anything else?
Oh, you know how you were saying to bring the gift for the director? Would it be okay to bring a gift for the kids, like a pencil or something with Ireland on it, or like lollipops or something?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's okay to bring candy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You could bring candy. We don't suggest candy, actually, because
candy is a crutch.
Well, guys, when you're
sometimes it's good.
Appropriate to give out candy as certain, rewards and things like that. But give them something that's like more sentimental. And I know, candy from Ireland could be, wow, I've never had this before. Try not to take that approach, though, just because if they to bring them something that nobody can say, why did the teacher give them this?
For example, when I visited, I brought with me lots of rocks, just rocks at Colorado, which is my home state, which is where we are right now. And I just gave these to the school directors. They loved it. It was very strange, and that's why they liked it. I don't know if kids would like something similar, but think about it.
Yeah. Just guys, if you're gonna buy gifts for your kids, it's not necessary, but you just don't spend a lot of money. We don't want you to spend a lot of money. We don't want you to spend a lot of money on gifts for your director. It's not necessary. It's the act that they'll appreciate. Yes. So totally do that. If you guys want to get a good laugh, I gave my director a head massager, one of those scalp massagers, guys. So and this was years ago, but when I walked in, it was a joke in a way, and as soon as I gave it to her, I said, when you're stressed, do this, and she laughed hysterically. She's like, this is ridiculous and funny at the same time. So it's a good foot forward. And if you guys are curious about what gifts, and I know you guys are all getting ready to go soon. If you're wondering what gifts might be appropriate, let us know if you have a question. All right, let's jump on to the next topic. And we're gonna kind of just run through.
Do we want to go over?
Packing questions. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I'm sure this is on your mind for packing. All right, and we'll go one by one. Connor and Starla, if you can hear, and Emily, please write in any packing questions. I'm gonna give you guys a lesson right now. Okay.
It's a free lesson.
Free lesson
From Matt Devine.
If you like to shop, Korea and China have a lot, especially for ladies, a lot of different accessories, like for different clothes, shoes. If you have a very large foot size, which I unfortunately did, and Connor, this could be for you. They kind of cap out, kind of max out at around size 11. You have size 11. So if you're above that, bring shoes. Seriously, bring shoes because it can be a challenge.
That's true.
But clothes, do not bring a lot of clothes. Really, you don't need to bring a lot of clothes because I guarantee you, and this might sound strange, but your style might change a little bit because you'll notice in Korea and China, you might be surprised if you don't know this already, they're very fashionable, even more so than many of our states and our country. I would say.
Image is more important over there.
Yeah, honestly. So the way you dress and present yourself, people. Now in school, guys, you do not have to dress in a shirt and a tie, and because you're teaching really young kids. It's very appropriate and very common to wear jeans if you wanted to wear dress clothes. Ladies, you don't need.
Would be okay.
Yeah, collar shirt totally is okay. Like a sweater, like I'm wearing right now. When it gets hot in the summer, even t-shirts are fine, but not ones that are revealing.
Right.
I saw a teacher once on a video wearing a cut-off tank top. That's really not appropriate. You know what I mean? You don't want to be wearing a tank top and teaching kids. You know what I mean? It doesn't look good, male or female. So it is very casual. But outside, people do dress up a lot when they're going out and things like that. So the point I'm trying to make is try not to overpack and bring a ton of things, okay?
Yeah.
Because some teachers do, and guess what? You're paying, if you have more than 2 50-pound bags on an international flight, some American carriers are a little different, but you're going to be charged for all those bags. So you only want to bring 2 bags, not exceeding 50 pounds, and a nice size carry-on.
Know your dress code. Just ask your school director if you have any questions. I packed a lot of like suits and ties and white shirts. I wasn't wearing any of that. I was wearing simple collared polo shirts.
Yeah.
That was it. And it cost me so much money to ship all of
Yeah.
these clothes that I never ended up wearing. Don't pack a lot in terms of clothes.
Sure.
Right? In terms of clothes.
Sure. So guys, honestly, take that for what it's worth. Ladies, you could buy shoes. You really can, if you and for affordable prices. Believe me, if it's something you want to do, don't feel like you have to bring 10, 15 pairs of shoes. And I know you might like a lot of things that you have, but just really ask yourself, I really don't need this. Based on what the guy said, I could probably buy one more of these things if I really needed it. And you'll be able to do that.
Here's one thing to bring with you: deodorant. Deodorant. I guess Chinese and Korean people don't really use deodorant that much.
Yeah.
They don't their pores don't pour when they're sweating, I guess. But either way, or maybe their sweat smells great, but I don't know what it is. But they don't have deodorant in the most common stores. You can find it, but it will be difficult. So bring deodorant.
Yeah.
Anything else from?
So like personal, ladies and gentlemen, any feminine or masculine, products that you really like or think you might need,
Bring them.
Use your best judgment and bring them. Medicine, guys, is always a good suggestion. Bringing certain kinds of Advil and maybe ibuprofen, but you are able to go and you can be helped to get different things. But I tell teachers to bring certain band, band things like that if you want. But you can get all.
You may hang up and go back in.
Sure.
Screens stuff.
Do you have mind right now? No, Paula?
Yeah.
We're good.
Hello? Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, Paula, did you hear my question?
No.
The question was, do you have any other packing questions?
Oh, do you know about makeup? Is it easy to get like the right
Yeah.
skin color, or should I bring it?
Absolutely, Paula. You can be very happy.
To my end.
No problem finding makeup. You will have problems finding makeup that you really like.
All right, guys, let's jump on to the next kind of module here about professional. To see, I'm going to ask the question first. You guys can think about some of these. But is there a top goal for either of you, for any of you? You know.
Stop. There's not enough stuff in here.
Okay, we're back, I think. Okay, I see movement from Emily. Guys, there was a server error with Google Hangouts. We just read this. So let's give it another try. Emily, it looks like I can see some movement here. Paula, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Connor and Starla, are we in the building? Okay, I'm going to start with Emily first. Emily, what is one of your top goals or the goal that you would like to achieve when you're abroad in Korea?
I don't think you can talk to her. She's going to have to type it.
Feel free to type it.
Okay.
Oh, I hear you. We hear you.
Oh,
We hear
you
you.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Success.
Cool.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, so my top goal is to provide students with a English education.
Okay. Okay. That's a wonderful goal. That's a wonderful goal. It should be, a top priority for all
It
teachers.
is
Right?
the number one goal, I guess. Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Excellent.
Great.
And we'll get into personal goals as well. So thank you for sharing that, Emily. And let's jump over to Paula. Paula, your top goal that you want to achieve professionally abroad.
I guess just become a good teacher and
Give her
like
time,
learn
right.
teaching skills because it's not something I've really done before. So just to like learn the skills to be a good teacher.
Okay, so improving as you teach month after month.
Yeah.
Definitely a great goal to have. Definitely a great goal. Let's ask Connor and Starla if they're still here. Guys, do you have some goals that you'd like to share professionally?
You're on mute. Let's see if they change it.
Guys, feel free to jump in. You're on mute right now. But if you get yourself unmuted, feel free to just.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my goal is to guide at least 60% of my elementary school kids to understand and be able to communicate basic English, and to also understand a bit of what is American culture. Yeah.
That's a great goal in getting them to understand for sure. Connor, let's jump over to you.
Well, because we work as a unit, I also have that goal with Starla. But beyond that, I would like to just grow in my own abilities as an international educator, as having previous experience teaching abroad. So I'd like to grow in that respect and obviously help my students retain a little English, and then just personally speaking, grow as a person.
Great.
We were going to talk about characteristics. We could talk a little bit right now about these things that they just went over.
Sure.
Can I say
absolutely. Let's go.
Okay. Well, it sounds like all three of you have very, very good goals. They're general, so let's talk about them. Number one, you want to teach English. Absolutely. Number two, you want to become a better teacher. And number three, you want to exchange culture. You want to give them a good impression of American culture. So those are three excellent goals. So why don't we think about this right now? How can you achieve those goals? I mean, I want you to tell me from day one. Like, let's pretend that tomorrow is day one of your class. You want to teach English, you want to become a better teacher, and you want to give them a good impression of the American culture. How can you do those things? How can you do those three things? Obviously, each one of those is for you. But just give me an example of something that you can do that's going to accomplish that, right? Because if you have a goal, you got to know what you're going to do to get to that goal.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? I have a good suggestion, guys.
Yeah,
of course. Connor and Starla, I think because you have already been abroad in another culture and have taught, you guys would be a good example of sharing some experience. How can you, become good from day one, and how can you kind of establish yourself and develop rapport with your students in a completely different culture?
Well, I think just the same as being a teacher in a school in the States, it's important to share your personality and your own skills and your hobbies with students. And a lot of those skills and hobbies reflect the diversity that exists in the United States and other, places in the world. So I think what really worked for me when I was in South America was just sharing through pictures on my first day, kind of pictures of my family, and also pictures about the city that I'm from, just to show that America isn't all poverty,
Absolutely.
It isn't all rich people, just to show kind of the diversity that is in other parts of the world. Yeah.
That's, guys, that's an excellent suggestion that Connor had. So if you can kind of envision, and a lot of teachers do this, so if you're introducing yourself day one and you're a little bit nervous, when you're with a Chinese teacher or a Korean teacher, or in your own class, and you're introducing yourself to your students, of course, speaking at a slower speed because you're learning their skill level so they can understand. Sometimes what you say might be translated all depending on your student's achievement level, showing them a picture of your house, of your family, getting those photos, passing them around, especially with the younger kids. Absolutely. They're so easily fascinated. They see grass on your front yard, if you live in the suburbs perhaps, and they get to see, you know, a single house because they're not used to it. It's so different and intriguing to them. So you pass these different things out of your family.
I mean, the first time that my students learned that I was from America, they said, "No, teacher, you're not from America. You're not fat." I'm like, "What?" Hold on. I mean, they have ideas in their head.
Yeah.
They have ideas in their head, and just like what Starla and Connor said, part of your job as a cultural tourist, cultural attaché, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, that you're doing for America, for Ireland, for whatever country you're coming from, is you want to bring that culture with you. So give them a good impression. Bring pictures, bring movies, yes.
Yeah. And guys, another thing too, this might seem overwhelming, you know, in the beginning, like, man, this is going to be so hard. But you'll be so surprised, delightfully surprised for the most part, after you get the hang of things and you're getting into a routine. You're going to come to school every day, and your kids are going to see you, and they're going to get excited, you know, to see you. If you're teaching larger classes, you know, you might not see kids as regularly, but it's a good way about yourself. If you smile, you're optimistic, and you're just excited to be where you are, which you all should be. You know, you're going abroad to teach. There's gonna be good vibrations in the classroom. You know what I mean? With teacher and student, and everybody's going to enjoy one another's company. So you'll be surprised how well you'll eventually get along. There is going to be challenges. There might be students that aren't as great as others that might get frustrated. But you know, you just have to be supportive and work with them. And you know, just stay optimistic, and it really is key. Optimism. It absolutely is key, and we're going to talk about some challenges in next topic.
So let's just talk about those goals one more time, about what you want to do. You want to teach English. You want to become a better teacher. You want to pass on your culture, right? All right, we just talked about passing on your culture. What about that second one, right? Becoming a better teacher. This is going to talk about some of the stuff we want to talk about anyways. Becoming a better teacher. I think, who asked that? I think that was Emily, right? I think Emily said, or was it Paula? Paula said that, I want to become a better teacher. Okay, Paula, I'm going to challenge you a little bit. How do you become a better teacher? I'm curious what you're thinking.
Well, I guess because I've never been a teacher, really. So I guess, like, you know, I've been looking up stuff and been getting, like, some ideas for lesson plans. But I think when I go over, especially at the start, it'll be important to, like, ask the other teachers for some help, and
let me give a little bit.
Not be afraid to ask for help.
Okay. Sure, absolutely. Never be afraid to ask teachers that are at the school, and guys, teachers that you respect and you know that you meet right from the get-go. Some of you might not be working with any other foreign teachers at the school. Starla, Connor, and Paula. So you know, you might not have another native teacher to lean on, but I'm sorry, another foreign teacher to lean on, but a native of that country will help you, and they'll give you good advice. I
have a little advice for Paula.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about day one after James. You know, day one is so important, and I feel like Emily's going to have some good advice on how to be prepared day one of teaching. But James, go ahead.
So Paula, I had never taught before I went to Korea, and I was teaching a class within 48 hours of stepping off my airplane. So I do understand perhaps what you're thinking. Here's my advice: 2 things. Number 1, research what pedagogical practices are. I'm serious. Like, as if you were a teacher in Teachers College cramming for your final test, right? Like, research basic things like classroom management, creating lesson plans, discipline systems, maybe even dealing with parents, but you probably won't deal with parents at all.
Yeah, you will not be.
Yeah, you won't. But nonetheless, research the actual things that teachers study, right? And sure. I mean, Matt went to Teachers College. Matt got certified. I did not, right? I just went my first year after college. So we're kind of a nice, different type of teacher that first year. So
Yeah.
Paula, number one, research what good teaching is, like the structure of what teaching is, so that you're aware of all the different things you should be doing. I was not aware. My first 6 months, I probably should have researched this before going. Right? What does classroom management mean? And then number two, find a teacher at your school who is willing to do a peer evaluation of your class, and ask them. Just be like, hey, I'm kind of new. Could you please just do this with me right now, and then maybe again in a couple months? Yeah. I'm sure, especially if you're really nice, I'm sure that person will be happy to do it for you.
Yeah.
And guys, it's very uncommon in the States, but quite common in East Asia, especially for Korean and Chinese teachers that actually, depending on the school, but taking videos of certain classes. So honestly, some of you might say, I don't want to see what I look like on camera, but I can guarantee you, if you have a teacher take a video of your class, you're going to point out A, B, and C of what you didn't like about that lesson, and say, do I move my hands like this? Like, I never knew I did that. That's weird. Perhaps I should kind of, walk around in power position a little bit more, circulate the classroom a little bit more. But I kind of want to call on Emily here and ask, because it relates, regardless if it's domestically in the States or here. Emma, I know you've had some teacher preparation training through your college. Can you tell me, student teaching, what were the important things to do on day one when meeting your classes? Can you just talk about a few of those things, if you have connection?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just kind of being a friendly face the first time that they see you is really important. That's what my co-op told me when my first day of student teaching. Just seeing like your familiar, happy face, and that you're always excited to see them when they come in the morning, because, I mean, it's probably not the same in the private schools, but you may be the only friendly face that they see all day. So. Yes,
that's an excellent point, guys. Honestly, and this is something you should definitely take with you. As difficult as it is to do, I'm going to tell you something very important, especially with younger kids. When you have students come in every day that are young, they are excited to see you. Some of them might not be excited to see you. Some of them, you might not be excited to see them because they might, be a bit troublesome. Some might just be a little too crazy, touchy-feely, and you're like, whoa, just relax a little bit. But like Emily just said, having that friendly face and greeting a student as soon as they enter the classroom. If you have large classrooms, greet the class as a whole. It's so important to greet your students when they enter the classroom. It shows younger kids, they might think that you don't like them that much, but it's really important to show that, even though it might not be true, but it's important to show that you care and that you're aware. So definitely greeting is important. Emma, this might be a little bit different for you with the really young kids, but even kindergarten and older, we'll say. So you're all going to be teaching younger kids, not any pre-K really. But let's talk about like age 6, 7, and older. One of the most important things to do, guys, on day one, and you want to get on the same page if you have a Korean staff member working with you or a Chinese staff member working with you, you want to discuss classroom management and discipline, okay? Different schools might have point systems for each student if you have smaller class sizes, because you don't want to be a pushover. You do not want to be a pushover, okay? But at the same time, you want to know and respect the culture that you're working at. Usually yelling out very loud is not acceptable, to students if they're younger. You know what I mean? Because they're not used to, in East Asian culture, a lot of direct confrontation. You know what I mean? It could be very passive. To be honest with you, I'm going to be very honest. There could be very passive type of interactions with people. So,
do you have an example?
Well, if
I have one. You two.
Yeah, no, you could share your example. But you just have to make sure that you're disciplining your kids. For example, we had a great teacher that we placed who had some experience here in the States, and then they went over to teach abroad, and they said, Matt, listen, there was 14 classes in the whole school. I had one of the top two worst class of the worst classes. And guess what the biggest problem was? The teacher that they had before was the biggest pusher. She let the kids speak Korean. She just let them argue between one another in Korean all day. So you can't just say no Korean speaking right away, no Chinese speaking right away. But the mission, the goal of the school is to get them to communicate in English. So if you set that mark and say, guys, strike, for speaking. Oh, who spoke Korean? Who spoke Chinese? I heard Chinese. I heard Korean. There's almost always rules in the school that say no Korean speaking, no English speaking at English school. Only maybe one class in a day when you're in Korean class or you're in Chinese class. So that teacher was very successful after 4 months, because after the first month, he said, this is going to be my policy. I no Korean speaking in the class. And after 3 or 4 months, these kids were communicating to one another in simple sentences in English, and he wasn't even teaching. It was playtime, and he observed this.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. So if you want to become a better teacher and you want to manage your class, you have to have standards, and they need to be established day one. And the last thing I'm going to say is they need to be consistent. You can't come in one day and say, these are our rules, okay, of the class. Let's follow these rules. And then the next day you let them slide. They're not going to understand. So consistency.
You're also going to have new students coming into your class frequently. You are not on a semester system. I don't think anybody's on a semester system.
Paula's system might be, you might get students to come in, new students, but for the private school guys in Korea, you are, Connor and Starla, especially for you guys, you will have new students come in now.
Right. So your structure, your system of discipline, and let's be honest, we're talking about a discipline system right now. We're talking about structure, right? Because that's what kids need. They need structure. They need freedom to move around within the structure, but they need structure. They need to know what they need to do to make you happy, right?
Yeah.
And therefore, set it from day one, just like Matt said. Just a quick example of what I did. I had just had my whiteboard right here, had all my kids in front of me, and we would start the day by, I would ask them a question in English. If they answered that question correctly, 1 point, right? I would write their names on the board, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Minus point if they spoke Korean, or minus point if they didn't answer a question that I asked them. So just simple things like that, just so they understand, they visually see what's happening.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
And guys, I'm just going to type this in. If you guys search for color code card system, you'll notice this is something that I love to use. The color system. It was green for really good, yellow for you had to have a warning today. I believe the next color was orange. If you've had to have multiple warnings and you really need to get back on track. The next color was red. Red's really bad. You know what I mean? And there's a chance that your parents are gonna hear that you were on red today.
You could do it. Yeah, do a soccer system. Red and yellow cards. Just have them in your pocket.
Yeah.
Red card, yellow card.
So yeah, I mean, guys, you're depending on the school. For example, Emily, your school might have a system in place. Paula, your school might have a system in place. Kana and Starla, you're in a new school, so I can almost guarantee you'll have flexibility. But just getting on the same page as your staff in Korea and China is super important. Does anybody have any questions?
Go left to right, I think, just because.
Yeah, Connor or Starla, if you have any questions about discipline in classroom management, I know we're talking generally, but let us know if you have any questions.
I guess I have a question. The school I've been working at the past year, I found as kind of after I'd gone through a color system or whatever, the last step I would ask students to step outside of the classroom and just, give them 5 minutes to cool down or whatever. Is that kind of an acceptable thing, like in where we're going to be teaching, or
absolutely.
Private school, can you not do that at all? Or?
No, absolutely. You can definitely do that. Now, with private schools, the goal is, again, we're going to be very forthright here, guys. The goal is to make the parents happy, make the children happy. And it's just being a positive teacher. Not making the children happy, I mean making them enjoy learning English. And they will enjoy it if you have a good attitude. However, if you have a student that's, perhaps, I'm just going to throw this out here, who's a really spoiled child, gets everything handed to him, which you will deal with.
The emperor syndrome in China.
Exactly.
Little emperor syndrome. That's what it is.
Yeah, and if you have a situation like that, you handle it in a very calm way, and then you talk to your a floor teacher or someone that you're working with and say, listen, gym teacher, I just need to tell you, I need your help with with Thomas, because they all have English names. Please, or most of them do. I'm pulling him out of the classroom because he cannot repeat. Obviously, guys, the card system can work really well for some kids, and it actually worked really well with me. I did that system myself, actually. It worked beautifully. Kids that are on green all day, they finish the day, they get stickers. You can create sticker books for them. Different reward systems like that. So that is acceptable, Connor. You can take students outside the class. Something that's very important is the whole saving face complex, and that means people want to have good face, a good representation of themselves, even if they're little kids. So yelling at a child, screaming at them directly, and I know it's something that you guys probably wouldn't do, but hey, I'm not gonna lie, I've done it before.
Yeah.
With a child. I've actually yelled. I have, because I was teaching all throughout the year, and it wasn't. I don't think it was the best decision. And I've had other TTS teachers have said, man, I've yelled because I couldn't take it anymore with one of these children. That was kind of disrupting the class, and I probably shouldn't. I said, well, should you have done it? And maybe I probably shouldn't. I wish maybe I would have handled it in another way.
I have a recommendation. If you need, you need to understand what you're allowed to do.
Exactly.
Okay, so you need to talk to your boss first and say, okay, what happens if I have a student that I can't deal with? What happens? What do I do?
Yeah.
Or not what do I do? What can I do?
Yeah.
Can I send the student to you? Or do I call you, or do I go to your office and bring you and you take the, what happens?
Guys, 9 times, yeah, exactly. That's a great thing to do is
know what your resources are.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, guys, the answer for that is going to be, but some of you might not want to rely on that, but you very much can, is asking a Chinese or Korean teacher to come in and take that, remove that child from the classroom.
Yes, your co-teachers will help with discipline.
Yeah.
They will.
Some of you might have co-teachers working right outside your classroom. Very rarely will they ever be inside the classroom, sometimes, but they will be there to help you if you have a situation like that. It's not like, hey, it's all up to you. You deal with it. I know you're from a different country and you're handling these kids, but you deal. So don't get overwhelmed, okay?
Yeah, I got nothing to do. Emily, do you have any more questions about, I don't know, issues in the classroom?
Not necessarily questions. What materials are going to be readily available for you, or are those things that you should probably bring from home?
Okay.
In terms of like prizes or.
Do you have any specific questions about that? What would you like to bring?
Just like prizes for them. I know earlier you guys talked about candy, not bringing candy.
Guys, the short answer. Here's a very short answer. There's so many stationery stores in Korea and China, everywhere. Very often there's a computer and a printer at the school. There will be, not very often. There will be somewhere to put this in. So sticker board charts, and then you can print out small little like Angry Birds. If you don't know about Angry Birds, you'll learn about cartoon fads of Korea and China, superheroes for the boys, princess stickers for the girls, so things like that, and kind of gluing them on their little sticker board chart. So when they come back the next day, they're like, oh, let me check out and see what my new stickers are because I was on green all day. That's definitely great. You could, if you want to spend the money on different prizes, you could. Very often schools will support you with little prizes. It all depends on your school. You have to find out when you get there. But they can support you with little, knickknacks and rewards for the kids after a really good month. Maybe no days being on any color but green, or just a great month behaviorally speaking, or academically speaking. So yeah, sticker board charts are great.
Did Paula have any more questions?
Paula, did you have any questions about that?
No, I think you've covered everything.
Guys, okay, let's talk. Let's be very forthright again, of course, about some challenges. Okay, we're talking about a lot, some challenges with students with behavior. Let's talk about something that teachers did with the most. Okay, and this is very often it deals with curricula or how the school is run. And what I mean by that is certain books, certain ways of, certain learning expectations from the schools, certain achievement levels where the students should be. Okay? Basically what I'm saying is challenges that could be expected of you, or how you're supposed to teach, that could be very, very frustrating for you. You feel like it's wrong. So different, and you're just like, this is completely wrong. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. Okay. So I'm not calling on any of you. I'm just going to tell you right now. But if you're okay, I expected it. Do this, okay? But it's all about how you address something, not calling someone out and saying, you're completely wrong here, why are you doing this, and making them feel bad. It's approached in a respectful way, in a humble way. It's looking at a situation and choosing your battles and saying, we're teaching this book that is completely out of their level, and their achievement ability. This is extremely difficult. I kind of want to freak out right now, but I'm going to bite my lip, do my best, and try to make the best decision. You can address those situations, guys, and say, hey, listen, this is where they are, and this is what we're trying to teach them. Do you realize can you see how difficult this is? This is so challenging for them. I'm going to do my best, but I just have a strong feeling that they're not going to learn these things. So guys, it's basically just being optimistic. What do you say, James?
Moving students from one level to the next level is not a perfect system, no matter what school you're at. All right? Like a student that moves up to the next level, to your class, that student probably forgot a few things from the first level. Help the student. Give that student a worksheet from, like, I don't know, what are some popular, like, what's the one I use a lot? It's been a long time since I've been to all these websites, but there's lots of ESL worksheet websites. Boggles World, that's what it was, Boggles World. And just download some worksheets on the subject that student is having a problem with in his or her new class. If they're having difficulty conjugating verbs, if they don't understand comparative adjectives, right? Just give them a worksheet and say, I will help you, just do this. Okay, so help your students get to that level, right? It's teaching is an art, teaching is a skill. You will,
guys, correcting students though in a positive way, right? We're trying to get them to improve. So if you're constantly hearing, a student say, for example, and of course it's cute that I'm sharing this, but you're the teacher though, you need to correct them. I are here, Matt teacher. You want to say, yeah, David, you say, I am here, and then have them say it. Now that won't be losing face, because you're not saying, you're not embarrassing them. You're just saying it in a nice way. The class understands it, okay? Everybody knows why you as a teacher said that. You're helping them. And I'm going to tell you, they will improve. If you're correcting them in a positive way, they will start to retain that. They're like sponges, okay? I'm telling you. They'll start to catch on and start to speak more and more properly. Guys, another great piece of advice is Emily, I'm sure you've experienced this. Starling, Connor, you may have. You're going to have some students that are stronger than others in any classroom. I don't care what level. If you're in in the States or at home, different tracks, you're going to have students that are just better and stronger than others. So, for example, some students might not understand what you're saying. Perhaps your Chinese or Korean helper teacher is gone. It's not worth it trying to track them down or pull them in the classroom to translate something. So can anybody tell me what a good solution would be if there is a language misunderstanding? I'm going to put some of you guys on the spot. If you have a class of students, what would be a good situation? I heard multiple people think, calling out, so I think we have the answer.
All right, it's Starla. I have a suggestion.
Starla and Connor, go ahead, and Emily, I'm going to call you after as well. Starla and Connor, what would you do?
Okay, in my English classes while teaching in Peru, when I found that a beginning student was having issues understanding something, I solicited the help of one of my stronger students to maybe help. So,
Bingo.
for example, I would easily just say, can anyone help Samantha? Or what does the class think about, I don't know what Sam said.
You're definitely on the right track. You're absolutely on the right track. Emily, would you add to that? And Paula, if you perhaps were thinking along similar lines. Emily, would you answer that specifically? Do you have any? Is there any differentiation in your answer?
Just like visual clues or pictures may help.
Excellent. Pictures, drawing something. If you're a good drawer, not me, right? Here's another suggestion, guys. You might have a lot of excited students that all want to answer it. They all want to be translators, and that's awesome. Okay, but you're the teacher, and you have to manage this classroom. So you want to go with some almost definitely be correct. You might have students that are arguing would be back and forth with each other, saying, no, this is the right answer in English. It's green, and then the other student would say, no, blue is the answer. So you have to say, okay, guys, one person, and call on someone. You don't want to call on this quote-unquote smartest kid every time because that might make others feel bad. But great suggestions, and believe me, you will solicit that help often. And guess what? It's going to work out great, and it's going to keep the flow of the classroom going. Everybody's going to chip in at some point, and everybody's going to feel good. So it's a definitely good tactic. All right, you want to continue on to guys, let's continue on to personal development.
Let's limit this. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We got 10 minutes. We're going to stop after that. We know it's a long talk, so we're just going to limit ourselves right now. 10 minutes. Let's talk about personal development, right? We just talked about professional, the classroom, your boss, your students. What about you? What about you? What do you want to do when you're abroad? But the first thing that we want to talk about is research location. Well,
yeah. Well,
do you want to talk about
very briefly, guys? Honestly, you're all going to different cities. You might be closer to it. Suggest searching Meetup. Okay, very important. You might have read about it in the Teach Abroad plan. The best piece of information for you is when you arrive, you're gonna feel a little bit overwhelmed. It's very natural. Just say, "I'm gonna be okay. I'm going." Obviously, Connor started. It's easier if you're together, but if you're going by yourself, essentially, you're gonna say to yourself, "I'm feeling a little anxious right now. I'm getting overwhelmed, but I'm going to apartment, my school, but I want to have a plan. I want to have a plan to do something, okay? So here's our suggestion that works very, very well. And it might be challenging for depending on your location, but you guys are all in pretty good locations. So research meetup.com groups, expat groups for your city or the closest major city, hiking groups, all these different things. Do a lot of research and see what groups are meeting and at what time. Join them. Ask them questions. Say, I'm coming next week. I want to meet up with you guys. They know what it's like because they've done it themselves, and they're going to be welcoming to you if it's something that you want to join, okay, and something you want to do. So it's a great way to meet like-minded people right off the bat, and you'd be very surprised how great you'll feel if you do this. If you take a back seat, guys, and you're like, I'm still kind of feeling overwhelmed, maybe eventually I'll meet some people, don't rely on that. Be proactive.
And make sure that you hang out with optimistic expats, not
Absolutely.
depressing expats, not expat country.
At least once in your experience. Do not feel bad at all saying to someone, I don't want to hang out with you. If you say it in a nice way, if you tell them why. I had a good friend that was just utterly depressing, and because he's from my neighborhood, and I met him overseas. But I told him, I said, John, you're the most depressing person. You're making me depressed. I can't. I love you, man, but I can't hang out with you. I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. I'm sorry. I think you need to go home. You've been here for 3 years. You're not meant to be here for another year, okay? Some people are, but you're not one of them. Go home, okay? So he understood. He kind of laughed about it. But you want to tell people, say, listen, I'm trying to have a good experience, and I just don't like the pessimism. So I'd appreciate it if you weren't like that, okay? Or just ignore them. Yeah.
Let's get to goals. What do you want to do when you're abroad? Learn a language? I don't know. Learn Kung Fu, learn Taekwondo, learn how to cook, learn to dance, learn an art. What do you want to do? Let's start with Paula.
Learn a language. Go ahead. Paula,
what do you want to do?
Definitely learn some Chinese, and also maybe like join a group like yoga or something to meet people. And I think some of my family are coming to visit, so travel a good bit on the holidays.
Let me ask one question.
Right.
And this is, whenever I have a coach that I work with as well, and whenever I say something like, I want to do that, my coach always asks me the same question. He says, okay, James, where can you go to find the information you need? So, Paula, where can you go to find the information that you need to do those things? What do you think?
Well, to learn the Chinese, probably I could ask somebody when I go over there, and then I guess I could Google also about classes.
Yes, you can. Paula, guess what? Here's a great example. There are universities in Hangzhou that offer English language courses in Seoul, even little academies.
Yeah.
One of the best ways to meet people from all over the world, not just America, not just Ireland, not just the English-speaking world, from Europe, students, is taking a language class. Honestly, if you guys are intimidated by learning an Asian language such as Chinese or Korean, I can't tell you how rewarding and fun it is to learn. And Connor and Starla, I know you guys didn't speak a whole lot of Spanish when you went to South America, and you were able to become quite fluent. Can you express a little bit how that feeling was?
Yeah.
Good. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry. We're back on the road and it cut in a little bit. I know it's about learning language. Can
you express the difference of knowing certain? If you're learning a language and communicating with locals in that language, how does that feel?
It definitely makes you feel a lot more connected. I think it's easy to stick with kind of the expat community, which is great, but it makes you feel just a lot more connected. And one of the things we did from time to time, and a lot of other volunteers in South America with us, is they did language exchange with just normal people in their town who want to learn English, and then vice versa, they can teach you their language. So just kind of an informal meet and greet at a coffee shop or out for food. That's kind of a great way that you can do like once or twice a week just to pick up some good phrases.
And yes, I want to make a recommendation. Here's a recommendation, all right? The first time you learn a language, go to a class at a university. For after you take that first class, that 2.5-month first class, then now that you have some structure, then go get a language partner, so that you have the basic structure now, and now you can kind of do some more finesse words, finesse sentences, complicated sentence structures. So the first time you learn a language, start with something very well set. Go to a university class. Then do your own thing. Then do a language partner. That's my recommendation. You don't have to do it.
Yeah. Guys, we're going to just make two more quick points. We're going to discuss portfolios and the benefits of them. And then we're going to talk about transitioning and perhaps a couple of questions. All right?
How about goals for the rest of them? What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Emily, what do you want to do in your book?
I'm sorry.
I just want to travel a lot.
You like
I want
to
to
do.
see a lot of Asia, as much as I can see.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Did you say? I can hear you now. Yeah.
I just want to travel a lot, see as much as I can see.
Okay. So where do you want to travel?
Thailand is on my list. Japan, China, anywhere really.
Did you read the Teach Abroad plan that we sent you? Okay. But have you read it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So in that plan, we ask you to do 3 things. We say, we ask you to figure out when are your different vacations.
Just keep going. It's cutting it out.
Plan them in your brain right now, because that will if that's your goal, plan them right now and just know when you're going to go.
Yeah.
Connor and Starla, what are your goals? Personal goals.
A fun personal goal for me will be to connect with the local families so that when Korean holidays do come about, I can have someone to hang out with and see how they celebrate in their homes. That was something that I really enjoyed when I was in Peru. In addition to that, I just want to get involved in a local dance club, maybe join a gym, and just really get immersed in the community that I'm in.
Good answer.
You're breaking up, but I understand what you a follow-up question because it's too difficult.
I'm sorry.
If you want to connect with people and you want to learn the true Korean, you need to go to Korean people's houses during the holidays, specifically during Chuseok. You need to make sure who is going to invite you sometime. It's Thanksgiving, so if you get invited, that's very, very special.
Suggestion.
But it's just off now, because we can maybe email about the
It's just frozen.
You talk about an amazing experience is seeing how people celebrate holidays in another country. Yeah.
All right, well, that's the end of the time, but we're going to mention one more thing in our portfolio. Yes? All right, everybody, start a blog or a website when you're overseas. It's the way that you
write content. Guys, a big reason to create a blog is for family and friends. They can see it, post it, and you don't have to answer a million questions. They could just see what you're doing and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But guys, look at it like this. When you return to your home country, okay, and you're trying to get a job in a different field or in teaching, okay, when they ask about your experience in Korea, having all right, guys. We're losing connection here. We
Give it 5 seconds.
And you've been abroad. You want to really think, what do I want to do? Do I want to stay for another year? Do I want to go to another country with Truth Teacher Services? Or do I want to return home? Okay. Do I want to look, at a job opportunity at home? And I had that great year. So know how you want to transition. Okay. Apply to jobs early at home. Prepare yourself. Don't do things last minute. Something that we didn't touch on a lot. You want to save money each month if that's your goal. Maybe it's not your goal. But transitioning with money in your pocket is always a great thing. If you saved even a few $100s each month, or more, or a lot more, closer to 1,000. But maybe it's not your goal. You want to spend money, enjoy traveling, and all different things while you're young. So that's basically it. Okay, guys. If you have any last-minute Q&As, we'll do one each. If not, we're going to look forward to being in touch with you and wishing you well on this year abroad, and we will be in touch.
Yeah, send us your emails, or send us your questions via email. That would be easier. I think that you don't want to listen to back and forth. So
yeah.
Emily, Paula, Starla, and Connor, they got kicked out. Too bad. But Emily, Starla, Emily and Paula, we wish you a very happy year abroad, and we're kind of excited for you. It's been a long time since I was back teaching. It's been a long time for Matt, too, so we're excited for you, and we hope you have a great time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. Get excited. You're going to have a great year. The transition might be a little challenging, but it's going to be an awesome year after that. We can assure you.
Yes.
Okay?
Have a wonderful night / morning, I guess, and yeah.
And enjoy the rest of the time with your families, guys. We're going to talk to you soon, okay?
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.